Hello and welcome to the MBA Foundations course on statistics. My name is Dr. Rich Gruss and I'll be the instructor. In this initial video, I want to familiarize you with the materials that we'll be using and the overall structure of the course. But first, I just want to say a little bit about the rationale. So this course is designed to give you the quantitative background that will be helpful to you as an MBA student. There are very few jobs in business nowadays that don't require at least some competency with the statistics that we'll be talking about. So even positions that were once the domain of creatives, such as product innovation and being a fashion designer, for example, are now characterized by analytics, that is data-driven decision making. Now, business decision-making was always driven by data. Back in the 19th century, Andrew Carnegie used to stand with clipboards in train stations and count how many people came and went and got on each platform and train, so forth. So the idea of data-driven decision-making is not new, but the level of sophistication and the level of precision has grown quite a lot, especially recently with the availability of large amounts of data, the so-called era of big data. That's why it's really important to develop a certain level of expertise at these techniques. We offer several courses on analytics here at Radford that get into issues of statistical quality control and decision analysis, predictive modeling, prescriptive analytics, and so forth. But they all build on the essential statistical concepts that we're going to talk about here. Okay, so as I said, what I want to do with this initial video is to just go through some of the materials and talk about the expectations. First, we're going to take a look at D2L and the online resources that are there, including the video lectures and how to use them. And then we'll take a look at the syllabus. Now, unlike a typical course, there's not a set schedule. This is meant to be asynchronous, self-paced, but it does consist of a sequential series of tasks that you have to complete. Then I'm going to show you Mystatlab, which is the central tool that we'll be using for doing homework and submitting quizzes. I want to show you how to purchase that, how to work your way around there, and to show you the digital textbook where most of the readings will be coming from. And then finally, I'm going to show you the Excel add-in that you'll be using for doing the data analysis. It's called the Analysis Tool Pack. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at D2L first. So on the when you log on to the course, you'll first notice that there are 4 modules here. There's one on course information, and then there are these 3 modules, each of which will conclude with an exam. There are 5 homework assignments within each one, and then 1 exam. So see, Module 1 is about descriptive statistics, Module 2 is about hypothesis testing, and Module 3 is about regression. And within each of these modules, you'll see that there are 5 different lessons. Right now, these are PowerPoint slides that I usually use in class lectures. Those will be useful to you, but as the video lectures become available that accompany these, you'll have those available to you also. So let's take a look at the the course syllabus then. I will be here in my office if you have any questions or problems. My office is Kyle Hall 362, and I'm here on Tuesdays and Thursdays this summer. So as I said, the course is centered around 3 modules, each of which has an exam, and those are described for you here. In Module 1, we're taking a look at descriptive statistics and probability distributions. So I won't list all of these topics here, but you'll see that it involves finding things like just the mean and the variance, and understanding normal distributions and discrete probability distributions. In Module 2, we get into hypothesis testing, where we do tests of individual population parameters, t-tests, for testing two samples, ANOVAs, chi-square tests, and then finally in Module 3, one of the more useful techniques, regression, that is trying to fit data in order to make some predictions or to come to some conclusions about what are influential factors. So that's roughly how the course is structured. If you take a look here at the course grading composition, you'll see that there are those 3 exams. The first one covers chapters 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you'll see there's exam 2 and exam 3 on a different set of chapters. They're each worth 100 points. And then the Mystatlab homework, which I'm going to show you in a minute, is worth a total of 100 points. So altogether, that's 400 points. And you need to have a 70% in order to be certified as being fully competent in these statistical concepts. Okay, so on the rest of the syllabus, you'll see the standard boilerplate about what to do about academic integrity and what to do if you need assistance and so forth. Okay, and of course, as always, if there's any questions, just send me an email. My email address is rgruss@radford.edu. Okay, so as I said, the main tool that you'll be using to complete your assignments is Mystatlab. And under course information, I've included a sheet that tells you how to get started on that. Basically, you have to just go to a URL in your web browser and go to this particular one, create an account and register, and then you have to connect to a course by its ID number. Now, the MBA Foundations course is going to be this. It's just Gruss 08856. And then when you sign into that, you'll be able to connect to it by clicking here. So there's the course identifier there, and there's the course title. Okay. So I want to show you just kind of how this works and what you'll be doing. You're dropped on this home page, which it doesn't show you a whole heck of a lot, but if you come here to this homework tab on the left, you should see 15 assignments sequentially. So MSL is just Mystatlab, and we've got assignments 1 through 15 here. So these are the homework assignments that are on the syllabus. I'll just go back there and show you those. Okay, so coming back to the course syllabus in D2L. Okay, so down here, you complete these at your own pace here, but you'll see the modules are described here. So there's module 1, and each unit within the module has an assignment. So there's MSL1. So if we come back here, there's MSL1. So what you'll do then is, and I'm going to come back here. So the recommended approach for each of these topics is to complete the assigned reading, and sorry to switch around so much. So for example, the assigned reading here for this first one is just chapter 1 in the textbook, which I'll show you in a minute. So you complete the reading, then watch the video lecture, and these lectures are going to vary. They're intended to not be comprehensive. I don't want to repeat everything that's in the book, but what I plan to do is to focus on topics that I think are especially tricky, and maybe some problems that need to be worked out to fully understand them, or maybe just show you a particular exercise that might help clarify certain subtle topics. So after you watch the video lecture, then you can take a look at the slides, or you can watch those during the lecture. And then finally complete the homework assignment. And the homework assignments take anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. So if you look at this time frame, so the assigned reading could take 2 to 3 hours. The video could take 10 to 30 minutes. And the homework assignment could take 1 to 4 hours. So if you figure this is for each topic, then the time required to complete all 5 topics for each module it could add up. So if your plan is to complete this in 3 weeks, then you really need to be able to dedicate maybe 4 or 5 hours every single day. But if you can't commit that level of time, then the course will take a little bit longer to complete. Okay, and then of course, email me any questions. I try to get back fairly quickly to email questions. Okay, so that's for each topic. But so for each module, then, when you complete the 5 topics, you should then review all of the homework assignment problems that you've done and use Mystatlab study plan feature, which I'll show you in a minute. And of course, I'll be in my office, so you can always come to me with any kind of questions. And I give you 150 minutes, so that's 2.5 hours. They should not take that long, but you should allocate at least 2.5 hours to finish those. Okay, so coming back to Mystatlab then. So each of those assignments, each of those topics has an MSL assignment here. And when you click there, it'll look like this. So for example, this is question 1. And it'll pop open a window here. It'll ask you your question, and then you can choose the correct answer. And it'll let you check the correct answer. Now, I happen to get it right. Just I picked one at random. But if you don't get it right, you get a couple of chances to try again, and it will give you hints. I definitely caution against random guessing because you don't get multiple tries on the exams. So you'll want to make sure you understand the material thoroughly before you try to get to that final assessment. Okay, and notice up here that the navigation lets you pop around between questions like this. I didn't finish this question, but I'm going to go ahead and jump around anyway. Okay, and so that's how you complete the assignment under the homework tab. So the actual module exams are going to be here under the quizzes and tests tab. So you see exam 1, 2, and 3. You're given 150 minutes, and it's going to look exactly the same with similar kinds of questions. The questions won't be exactly the same, but they will be variations of the problems that you did on the homework. So if you do the homework, you should be in good shape for those exams. And they work the same way. You just click on them and submit your answers. The only difference is you only get 1 attempt at each question. It doesn't tell you whether it's right or wrong, and there's a time limit. There's no time limit on the homeworks. Okay. So the other thing I want to show you in here, there are actually 2 things. So I do give you, for each topic, a reading assignment. And after you purchase Mystatlab, following the instructions on that sheet on D2L, you have access to a digital copy of the textbook. Now, you can, if you like, also purchase the hard copy of the textbook. It's very expensive, but for people like me who like to read on paper, it's very helpful. But if you're able to read just fine on the computer, then you'll find the textbook available here on Mystatlab, and it's under chapter contents. So for example, for that first topic, you have to read chapter 1. And you can come here to chapter 1, and then truthfully, any of those links will take you into the reader. It'll launch the web reader for the textbook. And okay, and so there it is. So you can just read there, and you can page through the assignment this way, or you can jump around among the book using this navigation panel over here. Okay, so the first module then is reading chapter 1, and let's see if we've got, yeah, so you can jump around among the subsections within chapter 1 here. Okay. All right, and so you can just close that window to exit the reader. Okay, so that's how you'll be using Mystatlab. The last thing I want to cover, just to show you another tool that you'll need to use for doing analysis here, and that's the Excel comes with a free add-in called the Analysis Tool Pack, which you can install by coming to File and Options. And then if you come down here to add-ins, this will list the add-ins that are installed. But if you want to actually add it for the first time, you'll only need to do this one time. You come here, make sure that this selector has Excel add-ins, and then you click on Go. And then just make sure that the Analysis Tool Pack is checked. Now, you don't really need these other ones. They're helpful. You may use them down the road, but for this course, the Analysis Tool Pack will be enough. So if you just make sure that that's selected and click OK, from that point forward, you'll have in your Excel this data ribbon, which gives you all kinds of neat tools. But the one that is relevant for our purposes is this Data Analysis tab. Much of what we'll be doing is going to be directly under there. So just to show you the kinds of things that it can do, and this is relevant to the first lesson, which is on descriptive statistics. I have a list of numbers here. This, could be anything. It could be just exam scores or something. Data analysis will give me shortcuts to certain descriptive measures. So, for example, I could just come to Data Analysis. And if you browse through there, you can see by the end of this course, you'll know how to use everything in there. But for now, we'll just go to descriptive statistics. And I'll select an input range. So I'll just say, okay, for these numbers, go ahead and give me the summary statistics. I'll click there. And then it creates a new sheet here with all kinds of measures in here. I'm going to format this so that it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, so you see it tells me that the mean of those numbers is 71.11. It also gives me the median and the mode, standard deviation, variance, these which are measures of the distribution shape. It gives me the range. So it's got a range of 77. That means the difference between the lowest score and the highest score was 77. And then it just gives me things like the minimum. So the lowest score was a 22, maximum was a 99, and then the sum, and then this is actually the number of numbers. So the Analysis Tool Pack has lots of nice shortcuts for things like that. But that's just a relevant example for our first lesson. Okay, so that kind of gives you an overview of the course and how it works. The next lecture is going to be about specifically on descriptive statistics. Okay, and as always, anywhere throughout the course, if you have any questions, you can email me, and you can always come and see me in my office. And best of luck completing this.